Check, check, check. Hey everybody, it's Paul Grossman, the Dark Arts Wizard of Codeless AI Automation, and I'm going live today around 10 o'clock my time, Chicago Standard Time. Just a reminder, I am looking for my new job, and if you are happen to be hiring and looking for a test automation architect who has got crazy interest in any automation tool that's out there, please consider looking for me. In fact, I can show you a little bit about myself. I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm going to go add this to my stage. There's our challenge for today, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we want to do with that. So LinkedIn, just to let you know, since I should do this, linkedin.com/in/PM Grossman. That is going to be me. That's me over there. There's all the cool stuff that I do and been doing and working on for forever, and doing little links and videos and all sorts of cool stuff. So, and there's the live right there. We are actually live. All right. If you, by the way, you can chat with me. Just hit up the chat and we can definitely take a look at whatever you want to talk about. So today, I think what we're going to do, I'm going to go copy this. We're going to close this out and relaunch it and see if we get it back over here. I'm going to go over to Claude. No, I want Chrome. And we'll go pick up Chrome over here. And there we go. That's what I want. And we're going to make it nice and big over there. All right. So what is the challenge today? So as I said, I've been looking for a position, a job somewhere. And the thing you got to do before you're interviewing for any of these things is you got to prep. You got to go do your due diligence. Like if you know the name of the person you're going to be talking to, and hopefully automating with later, you should look them up on LinkedIn, see what you can find out about them, any common interests that you may or have. And that's one thing. The other thing I do is I try what I would call predictive analysis. If you get enough interviews, you realize you get some of the same questions over and over again. And the biggest challenge I have is trying to have something prepped and ready so that I can jump and start off and go and do whatever it is that I need to do. Usually the most common thing that somebody wants you to do is to log in somewhere. They might give you a URL, but you can't guess that. But I can definitely guess, definitely put together an automation framework that would, type in, let's say, admin and the super secret password. And by the way, this is from Ministry of Test. This is a test site called the Restful Booker platform. It allows you to log in. This will not appear on the automation. It's just telling me that admin and password are probably not good, safe, secure passwords to be using. It gives you a site that you can actually go and add rooms to, and then once those rooms are created, now we're not going to do all this deep in here, but it is kind of cool just to let you know. This will take you over to the Shady Acres B&B, and you can add rooms. You can have custom amounts of money, and then you can, it has interactive ability with almost every most common field that you're going to find: radio buttons and check boxes, and a couple of different pages there, and a calendar that you can work with, and you can do validations of what's on there, and then take a look at details and stuff. This is really cool. The important thing is you should be able to log in to that project and then kind of log back out again. So that's what our challenge is. I want to set up a basic Selenium, Playwright, JavaScript, TypeScript project in order to build a framework like this that is available to me, so I can go and pull it up and say, okay, where do you want to go today? And of course, what I also want to do is the problem with this is the most challenging thing, is how often do we actually set up an automation project? Almost never. It's the first thing first, when the project starts, and then you're not doing it again day by day for the next 3 to 5 years. And then you have to try and remember, what did I do and go through? So I figured I would do a live session and see if how quickly I can get this going over here. It is now currently 10:05, and I'm going to try and see how long it takes me to get this done. So starting at 10:05 is going to be our starting point. And what we want to do is I actually wanted to ask Copilot some of the ideas of what I should do. And there's an alarm telling me I should have this little session over here. So I've got Copilot over here, and I was asking a bunch of questions, but the first thing was, can you put together for me, first of all, what kind of automation frameworks are out there for Playwright? And it was interesting because the reason I asked that is because there are more than one Playwright test runners configurations. Everybody's got a different version of doing this. So I said, what are the 3 most common setups for a Playwright JavaScript? And you know what? It should have been TypeScript. I actually wanted to say TypeScript. So I'm asking a good question over here, JavaScript, TypeScript. So I'm going to say at the bottom, let's build. So that there you go. You already have 2 different types. You got a JavaScript and a TypeScript, and the TypeScript would be the one you'd want to be going through. That's the one I'm prepping for. A TypeScript project, Playwright project. Instead. All right, so I kind of walked through everything. So we're going to do this as a clean, modern, professional Playwright with everything that's all set up that I wanted to do. And my mouse is, excuse me for coughing here. I think I have hit something on my mouse. I hope that is, my mouse has decided to act extremely weird. I'm not touching the mouse and it's going off on all sorts of different directions. I'm not even having it. Okay, it just decided to freak out. Now it's back. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So let's go back over to, I don't know why it scrolled all the way up, but I will put on force this over here. So here's all of our steps that we're going to need to do to set this up from step 1. First thing, it says create a project folder. So we're going to call this is our project folder name. And we need to go over to the project. So it says do this with a make directory. I'm going to say I want to do it slightly different. I'm going to go over to, there's my repo directory. I'm just going to do a new folder over here and call it that. So bada bing. All right. Here's a little trick that I do. I'll right click on this and say open in terminal. And now I've got the terminal opened over here, and it went right to my project. So I don't need to CD over this. I just basically skipped over this part here, and I just made this already. So step 2, we want to initialize this project. So we're going to go and get Node to initialize this. All right. First of all, I want to do node-version and see what it gets. Should come back and say, hey, I'm version 23. Cool. We are going to go and yield. All right. It says here, npm should be run outside of Node.js REPL in your normal shell. Control D to exit. Control D. All right, let's try it again. Control D. Let's clear that out one more time. We are going to do init. There we go. All right, so it created our first thing, which was our Java package, our JSON package for this project. and what it's named, and just the basic stuff that's out there. All right, step 3, we're going to go install the tooling. So we'll go first put this in here. Okay, and that's going to install the Playwright with the TypeScript language and connect everything in. And it has added 24 packages, and that is cool. I don't believe it's adding 24 packages. Let's go look at it. Well, it did open the create the node modules, so we are good there. Good to start. All right. Next is we're going to install Playwright. That's step 3, 4, kind of. So now Playwright has been installed. It really didn't respond with anything. I'm not sure if I trust that. Then we're going to go create a TypeScript config file. So we'll punch that in over there. All right, we created this. There's our TypeScript config file. Let's see what it looks like. It says software update. No, I just want you to update the file. Thank you. Just show me the file. All right. I don't need that updated, but it is telling me. Let's see. Can I get a little bit bigger here? Yes, I can. Okay. It says there's a syntax error in here. Well, let's take a peek. Maybe this messed up. Let's see where some compiler filters, looking for source files, distros, and we have a couple of modules. Our target is whatever the current version of ES Next that is ES is ECMAScript. That is kind of the versioning of JavaScript, because, you know, I should say that's not the version of JavaScript. It's the versioning of TypeScript out there. So it is doing ES Next. So we don't know what it is. I presume it's going to be ES 2025 or 2026, and setting up for all sorts of other nodes and stuff. So this is set up over here, but it seems to think that there's a problem in there. I don't trust that. So we're going to go. This is our JSON headers. All that stuff is good. So we're going to have to take a look at that and see what's going to go on. Next spot. Okay. Oh, we need to modify this. All right. I'll go modify that file. Then we'll go and edit. Open with, what should we open it with? Probably Visual Studio Code. So at this point, since I'm here, we'll show you another little shortcut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open a Visual Studio Code and go directly into this folder over here. So I'm going to say code. Let me try just code itself, which should open it. It was code.period. I read somewhere that code, you don't need the period anymore. You can just say code, and code will just pop up on your screen right where you're at. So guess what? It kind of did it right there. All right. And there's no code, just opens up the last project you had open. All right, forget you. Let's do it again. Code this here. I'll go grab the window as soon as it pops up and bring it down over here. I love learning things on the fly. So there we go. It opened it up, and there is our project all ready to go. There's our config, our node modules. Everything is set up. The config file, I believe we said we wanted to change that, and it says, why don't you change this to this guy to include this? All right, so why are we, one thing I don't like about using AI is that it doesn't tell you why. It's just saying, hey, just do this and then put this stuff in there. And I'm not sure if it's how it, if it's, see, it's got a whole bunch of stuff in there. So we're looking for compiler options all the way down to include. I mean, this all looked good. Does it want me to replace it? Where's our include source? Compiler. I think I'm just going to take the internals of this and add it. Not sure if I want to replace it. There's our modules and everything. Output source. I guess we're just saying reduce it down to this. So we'll reduce it down. I will paste that in there. All right. We have that. And by the way, another thing you want to do is turn on auto save. Let me see if auto save is turned on here. If I go and do the palette, which I believe is Control Alt P up here, maybe Polly doesn't remember. Shift Alt P. Definitely not Windows Alt P. Control P. Control palette. I want the actual palette up here. Let's do palette. Seriously? You're making me look dumb live. Stop it. We want that palette. Control P. That is not command palette that I am looking for. These are not the command palettes you're looking for. All right. Save. There's an auto save that's over here. Let's see if I can find the selection for it. As I said, you only do it once and then you kind of forget exactly how to do it. And, you know, that's the reason why you have like things like Copilot sitting around. So what is the shortcut for the VS Code palette? Control Shift P. All right. Thought I did that. Control. Oh, it's Control Shift P. I had the Alt in there. All right. Let's try that again over here. Control Shift P. That's what I'm looking for. Now, under this, there is going to be a save. I'm going to say auto save and save all files, save as, save without formatting. We want our auto save. I'll do that again. Control Z. Type something in there it did not like. Auto save. And I want to see about, let's see. I really should write that one down because that is good because it's taking me too long to do this. All right. I know it's in the palette. File save. Yeah, the palette is huge. And I may have to give up on that. We're going to give up on that. We're going to go on to our next step. All right. Seems like a lot of steps we're doing over here. I want to get it done in 10 minutes, and I don't know if I'm even close to that now. All right. So I've installed this. We changed all this. We opened this up. We made that. So up this next step is we're going to install Allure reporting. We want Allure as our reporter. And since we have already opened up Visual Studio Code, we might as well go and open up a new terminal. And now we can do the exact same things that we were doing in this terminal as we can do over here. So we'll do that. And in fact, it has the memory. There's the launch of Visual Studio Code. All right, so I'm going to go and install Allure over here and let it do its thing. Okay, that is now added in. And there's a logger. I have never used Pinot or Winston as a logger, so fast and modern. I like fast and modern. Let's go put in Pinot. This is my first time playing with that. So it's added Pinot. If we look under here, we probably have Pinot listed there. There's Pinot, a whole bunch of stuff for Pinot. Awesome under our node modules. So all these node modules have been brought in. And then we have to set up the folder structure. Well, all right. So I'm gonna go and copy this and ask the AI to go and set that folder structure up with me because dang it, it's faster. So here I've got Claude Code, and I can also open a chat, view chat. And so there's Claude Code or chat. So I've got actually two different ways of doing all this. There we go. Claude Code is open. Can you see which one of these actually has the capability to do this? Set up this folder structure, and if not, I will just freaking do it myself. All right. Well, I will do it third. I want to see if Playwright can do this. I'm sorry, Playwright, if Claude can do it. And if not, I'm going to go see if we can do it with Claude. So that's Claude Code over there. This is, I guess it's essentially the same thing. Let's go take a look at our folder structure and see if anything fun is happening over there. Allow to write. Yes, allow all edits during this session. So see what he's doing over there. He's noodling this. We should get some folder structures underneath source. There we are. Look at that. And we've got source and wrappers and tests, all that cool stuff. And wrappers. And it also set up all the file structures for us. Hot dog, allow this bash command. Absolutely. Go ahead. Do whatever you want. I don't care. There's our basic login spec. And I think that is going to get modified. That's a pulling in from a login page. Let's go take a look at our pages. Oh, there's our login page where it's pulling from the page object model. Allow this branch. We're going to go execute this. All right, cool. Edit automatically. All right. Kind of building it up for us. And let's go back over here and take a look. All right, then we have to create the Playwright config file. Well, I'll go Playwright. Let's take a look at what that is. So we're importing Playwright. We're defining where the tests are located at. The kind of reporter we're using Allure for Playwright. And it says headless. I don't want it to be headless. I want it to be false. Our viewport is how big the browser will be, and our videos will only record on the first retry. If the first run fails, then we're going to record video on the second. Screenshots only on failure, and trace retain on failure. All right. And our projects over here is we're just going to launch Chromie. We're not going to do multiple browsers at this. All right. So I'm going to go do that, create a Playwright config TS. There is a Playwright config TS already in there. I'll hit, let's see, do you want to allow this bash thing? Yes. Should tell it to do that. Of course, what's it doing? I don't know. Well, once it's done, I'm going to ask it to please give me a review of what you done. And in fact, if I read some of this, I had to update this, the installed TypeScript 7 removed node 10, which broke the type check, switched to node next, and edited the skip. Okay. The demo selectors and base URL. So it's going to, this is the base URL it's going to over there. Let's go take a look at that. I know what that is. That's an old little interface. Here's RESTful Booker. This is kind of a boring little thing. Doesn't even have any CSS, but it does have a whole bunch of links to different things that you might encounter on the on that. And you've got a, let's say, add and remove elements. We can add an element, we can delete an element. So you could write automation scripts against this website that would interact with these things, selecting an option and letting it go. So it's a really cool, just to do a one-on-one automation script. I think there is a login here. If I take a look, EFGHIJK. I thought there was a login in here, but I don't have time to go looking for that. Let's go see. Most common thing I've got over here is that the process does not get set up correctly. It's like every time I set that up, process is always wrong. It is bringing in all this, and you know what? I think this guy said, forget doing that. You want to create this. You want to use this instead. So I'm going to go get rid of all the Playwright stuff that it already set up over here and pop that in there. All right. Good to go. I'm not sure if I told it what the URL is. So now let's see, we've got a logger module. It's an example. I'll take that. Let's go under source utilities. I don't see why I actually had to go and do this, but there's our logger TS. We will replace it with this. I think I'm actually kind of dumbing it down. I don't know. And then we need a browser wrapper for this guy. So we're going to go to source and wrappers. And there's our browser wrapper. And we will punch that in there, which really dumbed it down. Let's see. Let's go back a second and see what it was actually doing. It's importing all of these different things, including Firefox WebKit. We don't need that. We're not doing Chromium, Firefox. And of course, everybody has to have a secret code for their browser, right? All right. I believe that is Edge, if I'm not mistaken. WebKit is Edge. Yeah, why name it Edge? Why just let's use super secret codes on there. All right, so it's got a thin wrapper around all of this. It's going to go to a page. We're not going to do all that. We are going to dumb it down a little bit, which is, hey, just so it's over here. It's creating a version of Click that you can extend. You can call it Safe Click, and that way you can put in other features. I like it. It's okay, but I think I'm kind of comfortable enough. I would just extend the click method itself and let it do its thing. We got Save Click. I'm not really crazy about Save Click. I like Click Advanced mostly because if I have to revert it somewhere in my actual code, I'd rather be taking it off the end to make it work. And in this case, I'd have to change 5 characters. So we're going to make this Click ADV over there to do that. So should let the AI know I changed that. All right, so next thing is to go and set up the page objects. So it's got items for username, a password, a login. Let me see if it's actually login. Let's go back over to, not the internet. I want to go back over to the admin over here. That's the automation testing online /ADMIN. And it's just flat up login. All right. So let's go back over to our code over here, and we're going to copy this as the login page. And we'll go back over here and punch that in. And all we're really doing is we're going to execute a command called login, which is going to go fill in the username and the password. Not sure where it's going to get provided. We'll come up with that. We'll figure it. The username object is this. So I like this. This is username. This is. I do not like it calling username and password, not declaring what it is. The button, yes, no, I know that this is a button, but username and password, I'm not crazy about. So what I would do is I would go and create a a rules a rules folder. I need a rules MD file that ensures fields are named. So what I'm trying to say is username should be username field. Should be username dot underscore field. Okay. If I ELD, did Polly spell it right? Yep. All right. So I'm going to do that and let it think about it. I should get another file over here. I think it's going to end up creating a folder called GitHub, and it's going to put that in there. So I'll create a rules doc for naming convention to apply it to the existing page. New set of rules. So it set up a rules. I'm not sure that's actually the right way. And it's going to go and fix the code over here. Using a whole bunch of my tokens. You leave my tokens alone. Doing the fribbity gibbity, and there we go. It's renamed this. Allow this bash command. What is it doing? Echo exit. Sure. All right. One of the things we wanted to do is make sure that Playwright over here, where it says to run it headless, false. I want to see this. All right. Cool. We do headless when we want some speed. So, all right. I've got that. We're going to allow this bash command. Sure. It should just say always. Okay, it's chugging away. I know I had two different chats going on over here. Here's another AI chat. There we go. We had closed that out. All right, create a skill. We'll talk about skills later. I'll learn about that later. All right, so this is Claude Code. I'm going to ask a different version of it. Will rules.md ensure the coding standard? I thought it was something else. For Claude, thought it was Claude instructions.md. So now I use a different version of it. It's searching around, seeing if I can find what I'm talking about. So it's going to go and see if I can find the. I'm pretty sure it's Claude-instructions from what I remember. For most Claude works, the commonly recognized convention is Claude.md at the root. Now you okay, so all right. All right, so we will go use Claude MD at the root. So we will take this and we will rename it CLAUDE MD. It is at the root. Now let's go take a look. Root project rules. We have a bunch of rules in there. Let's go see. Okay, cool. I like that. So now I got my rules set up, so it should not make any other mistakes like that. Cool. Close that puppy up. All right. What's our next step? We had the page object done. Cool. And then we create the test. The test is a login spec. Login spec is sitting under tests. So we should have tests, login specs over here. And we are going to go copy this, punch this in, see what we get. So we are bringing in the test and expect for validations over there from Playwright test in the note from Node. Login page is a source over here. Bring in the login page because we're going to interact with it, and a logger, and we're going to see how that logs. We are going to go to, it says over here, it's going to localhost or the base URL. So the process is going to be, basically, I'm going to end up and running this down here. I don't know what that thing is, but we'll do an npm, and we will run that with a base URL. And off the top of my head, I don't know it at the moment, but I'm pretty sure the next step is that, oh yeah, we need to set up we need to add this to the JSON package. So we'll go to package, and we'll add that. Do we have under, let's see, it's scripts, Playwright scripts under Allure. Do we have scripts? We do have scripts. So we are going to take these guys, and we're going to punch them in. All right, cool. And basically go run the test. Now, I'm not sure exactly where we're getting those credentials from. I don't think it's actually going to go to where I think it's going to go. It looks like it is trying to run all three. And as I said, I only need one of those. So I am going to tell it to knock it off. We'll go look for WebKit. I don't need the 3 in there. So we'll go to WebKit. This looks like results that I found. These are also results. Don't need that over there. It says 3 failed. Well, of course it did. All right. So I'm going to say remove Firefox and WebKit. What I want it to do. So it's going to the Playwright config. And we'll go to the Playwright config. Playwright config over here. We should have gotten rid of all of those. We just have the Chromium. All right, that's cool. Let's try that one more time. See if we just get the one browser. You know it's going to fail. Okay. How do I provide? Oh, no. Next thing we need to do is go find the URL. We need to tell it where it's going. Should have told it that in the first place. All right, got a whole bunch of stuff in here, and the search probably needs to be limited to what I search for. URL is just huge over there. All right. Okay, that's cool. Mining diamonds. Mining diamonds in the sky. Blah, blah, blah. I used all my credits. I bought more. Wait for my $100 though. We'll run out. Okay. I'm going to set the URL to go over to this one over here. We want to go to RESTful Booker right here. It doesn't, I mean, I don't like that it doesn't tell me what it's trying to do. If I go to the Playwright config, Playwright page, okay, we'll get rid of this. We're going to go to our page over here, and then we want to go to, what are we going? Everybody's just cramming in there, aren't you? All right. I want to go to my folders, and I want to go to my tests. This guy over here. So he's going, oh, he's saying go to this or the base URL. All right. Well, this is not what we're going to go to. We're going to go. So base URL. I think it's just base URL in the command. I think it is base underscore URL equals, right? Yeah, there you go. For a single command, blah, blah, blah. So I'll go copy that. All right. And I copied everything in there, so I can take the npm out, give this a run, see if it did it. Running one test, one worker, and I'm still looking for my browser. And I don't see it at all. All right. This is not entertaining enough for anyone to be watching. All right, cool. I can live with that. All right, so we're going to keep this. The base URL is this. And okay. I'm not opening the browser. So once we get through this, I think what I'll do is I'll come up with I'll ask the AI to provide a query. It's not the right term I'm looking for, but a way to build what we already have here. Say, okay, he is attempting to go and run it. Chrome. All right. I think I'm going to try and close this out. I would like to close this out. Maybe I can't. It's probably sitting there right in front of my face. I can't do it. And what did I just do? What did Polly do? What did Polly do? Polly danced. Danced. I love Footloose. It was an awesome movie. I'm going to run the whole thing. I saw it. I saw it pop up. All right. Okay. That's good. What you doing? Ah, look at that. That's the way it should look. All right. So it's sharing the browser with the agent on that. And so make navigation resilient, so always lands on the admin page. Before filling the credentials. All right, it's doing everything for me. I haven't had to write a darn line of code. All right, now it did it. Cool. We'll keep all of that. And I believe we will just copy this. Okay. Base URL. I'm going to say username is going to be admin. We'll pop it in there one more time. And we'll say password is, wait a second. Base URL equals environment, base URL, environment, base URL. That seems too long. Environment, base, username. No, I want just username. Username, admin. Base URL, password. Password, not environment. Oh, fully. I'm going to say fully on that. But I could also, this is a dedicated answer like test headed. No, that's okay. Do I pass in username admin and password? Password. I said password. Okay. It's been a while since I've done that. Credentials. So it's wiring it up. All right, it's got all that. So I wired that up. Now I can do this. See how close I got. Probably not at all. Gosh, that seems weird. But okay. That seems really weird. That's like, why? That doesn't look right at all. In one line. That is not the way I normally see it. Okay. That's what I would see. Come back. CLS. Clear this out. Let's punch it in there. That's the way I want it. All right, we're running a test. Let's see if the browser where it pops up. And it said it passed. It saw rooms. Okay, why did you not pop up? I'm pretty sure when we said run this to be headless equals false. I'm gonna try one more time. Maybe I was just freaking blind. I'm looking. I think I saw it for a millisecond. I'll let it take. It took 5 seconds to run. Sometimes you gotta slow it down, I suppose. Down the run so the browser can be seen. Unfortunately, I think I saw it at the top of the screen. Now, when I do these demos, launch option, slow-mo 400. Look at that. Son of a monkey. It's right there. It did it. All right. 400 frames between. Yeah, 200. It was kind of slow. We'll do 200. Slow, you can bump it to 800 or 1,000. Oh, no, I want it faster. That's fine. The next thing is the problem is the browser is at the top over here. And we move the browser. I guess we've got what we want over here, right? I think so. Yeah, let's make it 800 so Paulie has a chance to actually, I'll make it 1,000. Paulie has a chance to actually drag it onto the screen. Let's do that. All right. How long did that take? That's 50. That was 5 minutes. That's 45 minutes to do something very simple. And Paulie did not go and grab the browser when it popped like this. There we go. Cool. So I would add a highlight at this point. And look at this. Okay, we are at 51 minutes and nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. All right. So we got the viewport, everything all set up there. I think this is good for a basic approach, which is cool. So if I wanted, so we're going to ask it. Last thing I was going to ask it is, first of all, how much did I have over here? Okay. Give me a prompt that would build this template. Boom. And I didn't spell prompt correctly. Now, what we really like to do is have this browser appear on my screen. Okay. And there's our prompt. Look at that. What a beautiful thing. Is this something you would like? Is this something that you would find interesting? So here is our prompt. Create a Playwright script. Blah, 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 blah. That. I like it. All right, how long did that take to actually run? It took 7 seconds when I kicked up that slow-mo over here, so it could be seen. All right, what else we want to do? I think I want to save that off as a prompt. Let's go. Open up, I think, Notepad. We'll go open up Notepad. Notepad is not responding. The reason is because over the last few years, I've opened up a gazillion files and then not closed any of those files. So it sits there and now spends time opening up a gazillion files. So I'm going to take this prompt over here, and we're going to go zoom. You know what? If I zoom all the way out, you can't see it. I'm going to go zoom all. Hey, I got somebody watching me. Look at this. Let me go take a, and I've got comments too. I haven't seen them. 10:51. That was about a minute ago. That's Blakely Moody. Hey, Blakely, guess what? You're a programmer. Darn right, I'm a programmer, except my vibe coding right now. Which AI are you using? Blakely's asking me. Essentially, it is I'm splitting kind of between Claude and Copilot. So I used Copilot since you kind of joined a little late at the very beginning of the whole thing. I went over to Copilot and asked it to kind of put together an idea of how I could build a demo and build my automation framework. Yes, I am a programmer. I've been doing this for about 25 years. Do keep in mind, lately, all of us, if you are a test automation engineer, all of us automation engineers are all programmers. That's the one thing that really kind of gets on me. I know AI is new, it's a new tool. The way I kind of look at it is it's the difference between gold miners who are out there with pickaxes, and then suddenly the hydraulic jackhammer came along, and then they could just do their work. They get the same thing, they get to the gold. The thing is that they do it a lot faster. The difference between my vibe coding, because I've got 25 years experience and I work in every freaking tool that's out there, and other tools out there are younger kids who are just vibe coding, because I've got the experience. I know what I'm looking for. I know when I'm missing something. I know when I ask for it to build a Claude file that has the instructions on how I want it to write code and not write crappy code. I know to go look for that to add it in there. Young kids who are just starting this, they don't know it, and they do need people like an automation architect to clue them into what's going on. And my mind wants to go back to that thing. We are all programmers. We're all developers. If you're using GitHub and I'm using GitHub and you're a developer and I'm a software test automation engineer, we're still developers because we're using GitHub. We are actually committing that over there. Black Eye Moody, thank you for that question. That is cool. If you got other stuff, I'm trying to think of what to do for my last 10 or 15 minutes. I appreciate you hanging out here. And essentially what I'm doing over here is I'm setting up a Playwright and TypeScript automation template. So the idea is I can use this as my starting point in an interview. They say, can you write this? Can you code that? And I will say, well, I've got a template. And then I would go down over to my template over here. Let me go pull this open and see if I can. Well, that doesn't do anything. I was hoping to make it bigger. So underneath my repos, I have all these different repos. Yes, I've got a ton of these, and they're all sitting up on GitHub out there. And each and one of these are something I go back to try and learn. Like, that spec file isn't a thing anymore. It's been replaced by rec and roll. And spec file is an automation framework using Gherkin and that. The problem I don't like about spec flow, well, there's two problems I'll say. Let me see if I remember both of them. One is the data, and two is the layers of the automation framework. So if you're working in spec flow, Gherkin, that stuff, what you're trying to do is make an automation framework that has one extra layer than a standard automation framework. A standard automation framework has three layers. It's your test scripts, which are calling your page object models. And then you have your support functions underneath to take care of anything that's kind of weird that's going on. That's, let's say you try to enter something into a input field and it doesn't actually execute. It doesn't take anything. So you have to write a custom function that says when I enter, if I see this particular type of field, then automatically kick in an enter key at the end of whatever I type, and everything else works fine. With a framework of a Playwright, I'm not Playwright, with like a Rec and Roll or the Cucumber framework, you have a test feature file, which is then calling the commands that say when, given, when, then. And then that goes down to your page object model, and then that goes down to your support utilities. So you're actually writing four. This is going to take more time to support and build out than a three-layer automation framework that's out there. I got a second person who is watching over here. I'm going to take a look over here. I got someone watching from YouTube. I am broadcasting on YouTube. Should be on LinkedIn, and I don't see it out there. It bugs me. I don't see. Oh wait, no, I should see. Yeah, I should see LinkedIn, and unfortunately, it's not broadcasting on LinkedIn. This is actually I said I'd be coming up in 10 minutes. So anyway, whoever's watching me on LinkedIn, thank you very much I'm sorry, LinkedIn on YouTube. My chats are open, so if you want to chit chat, ask me questions, anything you want. I am currently looking for a job. I'm I'm unemployed after all these 25 years. Well, I get unemployed every once in a while, but I have worked with a whole bunch of different people. I also wanted to show you something else that's kind of cool. Since you guys are watching here and you've been so nice to be sitting around, I'm going to go back over to my browser for a moment, the RESTful Booker over here, which I'm going to go over here and you can see all of the tools that I play with. Dark Arts Wizard. And you may like, why are you Voldemort, the he who shall not be named? That's a completely different joke. That personal joke that I have. Where'd they all go? There we are. All right. So in case you're wondering, these are all of the tools I've had an opportunity to go and touch my little finger on. I don't have a project for every single one of them, but I guarantee you each one of these guys, this is, if you go to Dark Arts Wizard, if you click on the link, Functionize, it'll take you right over to Functionize. If you go and take a look at Autonomous, it'll take you over to Applitools Autonomous, blah, 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 right? And every tool that I can think of, automation tool that's out there in some form or another, is out there. I bet you it's amazing to know that how many of these things are out there. There's K-Test. This is Classy Test from my good friend. I got 3 people watching. Oh my gosh, must be lunchtime. I don't know what's going on here. 3 people. Thank you very much, whoever's watching. By the way, just a reminder, I do have my comments going on. So if you want to chat with me and you see a comment over there, if you're don't see a chat, or if you're chatting with me and you're not getting out there, seeing it up, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, Dark Arts Wizard. I'm sorry, I said Twitter. I did not mean Twitter. I am on Twitter over there on X. I meant to say Twitch. I am also on Twitch. I really should pop up these things. So do find me over at Facebook or Twitch, and you should be able to ask me questions. At the very least, I do know that coming out of Twitch, Black Eye Moody can see there. He was asking some questions. She, I don't know. Hopefully you like my fancy shirt. It's a kind of cool shirt. What was I saying? Let me get back to the point of this whole thing, which was these are all the tools I work with. And then over my years, and I did make this with Lovable. I originally did it with a different different tool, but it seemed like that one kind of went out of the face. WebSim, but I think WebSim is kind of dead from what I can tell. Anyway, these are the automation features and the basic and advanced things that I would expect an automation feature to do. Oh, I lost 2 of you. Oh my gosh, I lost 2 of you. Why? And only one person is sitting there. It's I'm gonna say it's Black Eye Moody. All right, thanks for hanging out here. Man, 2 of them left at the same time. Oh, that hurt. So yeah, so I've basically all the features I would like to see in an automation framework, because I actually go and test them. I will compare them. If you look up Paul Grossman, the Dark Arts Wizard on my YouTube channel, you'll see the comparisons I do between, it's called the Candy Mapper Challenge. I'll talk about that in a minute if you're interested enough. The basics, I would expect an automation framework should be able to go and run against Windows on Chrome. It should be able to run on a Mac with Safari. I should expect it to be able to work with Firefox and the iOS smartphone. So smart device over there. The bonuses, if one of the things that I have seen people do, project managers or high-level CEO level people say, oh, now we've done all this automation on Chrome, but we need to make sure it works on Edge and Safari and 3 versions back. And it kind of balloons. You just now had this whole project that's this big. Now you ballooned it to this big and this big, 3 times as much. Be careful of that, because then if the team didn't balloon to 2 or 3 more people, then you're going to be spending all your time trying to figure out why does it work on Chrome and not on Edge, and Safari was kind of weird. You don't want to do that. You want to be spending your time writing more test cases for more test coverage. Clearly, a few other things. I've got the different frameworks. Your basic HTML. I know of one website that used to be basic HTML, and I worked on it for a little while. I'm going to mention it over here. It was Victoria's Secret. I worked on it for about 6 weeks. No shame there. I enjoyed it because it was a really easy website. Nowadays, you've got React and .NET. You should be able to do that. And by the way, you can click on this. If you go to this website, you can set up your own settings as you talk to people from different things. Let me explain that a little bit more. Let me go back a little bit over here. So here's my automation tool. So if I was looking at ExcelQ, I have these all set up, and I believe you can go to this website. You won't see any of these checked if this is set up the way I think it is. I haven't tested that yet. I should have tested that. You should see clear items there, and then you could use this as a little cheat sheet that says, hey, I'm comparing ExcelQ to Autify. I'm comparing it and Autonomous. And as you switch between these two, you can keep check mark boxes, and then you can say, okay, you guys pass, you do what I want, and then have your own little list that is what I need to have and what would be nice to have. As I said, websites can be created with React, .NET, Vue, Angular, Svelte. I'm not sure where they are on the list anymore, on the S tier list, but I'm sure somebody has a video on that. Basic actions we should be able to do. Let's go back this up a little bit. There's your basic actions. You should be able to go to a website, enter something, select something from a list, click a button, combine all that into a login, do a file upload, clear a field, submit a form, which is the same as click a button, hover over something to have it open a drop down, and then mouse over and click, which is basically if you're trying to get the mouse to go over to click on something rather than expand. And also scroll into view. Scroll your stuff into view to see that you actually are interacting with something. I'm going to be testing this a little bit on Playwright. The question is an object that is out of the screen view, is it still considered visible? And I think there's different answers for that. So maybe another time later on, I'll take a look at that. Hit the like and the follow and subscribe and all that stuff. As I said, if you want to see some of the stuff that I do, you can go over to YouTube, Paul Grossman, the Dark Arts Wizard over here. And this is all of the cool stuff. And there I am live saying, let's create a Playwright template project, which I've just completed. That's cool. And then, as I mentioned, there is what we call the Candy Mapper Challenge. And these are all my videos where I have tried different tools to build the Candy Mapper Challenge. Now, if you're an automation engineer and you want to do something kind of quick, I got 3 video visitors. 2 people from YouTube, 1 from Twitch. Still got Black Guy Moody. Nobody's asking questions. Please ask questions because I'm just making up answers as I go along. The point of this was that if you wanted to do a Candy Mapper Challenge, I own a website called Candy Mapper. In fact, I own more than one. But we'll go over here, candymapper.com with the extra W. And this is what I tried to test with all the automation tools I can get on with. At least, in the first one, you had the demo and the demo time available to you if you're comparing coded versus codeless tools. So this is an 8-step automation thing. 8 steps. How quickly can you create a script that runs successfully with just 8 steps? And this is it. Number 1, navigate over to candymapper.com. Number 2, I've got this pop-up, this modal dialog that is in front. I need to close that. That's number 2. Number 3, I want to go over here and enter in my name, Paul. We'll do that. And that's number 4, click the submit button. Number 5 is verify that I need to have a valid email address in there. Okay, number 6 is to enter a valid email address. And when I say valid, just in format, it doesn't need to be yours. I don't collect them. I don't sell them. I don't do anything with them. So that's just my disclaimer out there. The Candy Mapper doesn't exist and it doesn't provide any services. Number 7 is to click the submit button again. And number 8, and it takes a little while, is to verify that we will get back to you within 48 years. Yes, 48 years we will get. We're kind of slow at getting back to people. This is a Halloween app that we do nothing at all 7 days a week. Unless it's Halloween, then we've got a 24-hour fully staffed support line to help you find the candy at the best houses in your neighborhood. No, it doesn't really do that. It's just a site for testing out all sorts of different things that could be a challenge, like verifying that you see a random dollar value. Every time I refresh this, it will give me a different random value. Verify that you have it says select Worcestershire. Well, these are all counties in England, and Worcestershire is at the very bottom, which means that list is off the screen when you go to try and look for it. All sorts of cool stuff. And if you do actually try to go to launch the Candy Mapper, it does take a little while for it to come up. It takes, when I say a little while, it literally takes forever. This spinner will never go away. Also, this site is intentionally in bad colors, black and orange and white. All this is not a very good color scheme. It's intentionally done that. So if you're doing accessibility testing, people who have vision problems or people who are colorblind, they should be able to see this. And if you have a tool that is able to go and analyze your website to see if it is, the capability of following the rules for accessibility and web CGAC. I'm not sure if that's exactly the command over there, but yeah, you can you can test it against this site. It will not change. It has been around since 2019. My wife actually came up with the name of it. I was just asked her, I'm looking for a silly name for a Halloween-based website. And she said Candy Mapper. And I went, well, don't just have the best one on your first try. Give a couple of other options. She's like, no, I like Candy Mapper. I do too. But that's why my wife is my best friend over here. She's so brilliant and fun, and I love everything that she does. I know she's on Twitch, so I know Black Eye Moody, you are not my wife who's watching me at this moment. She does drop in every once in a while, see what I'm doing, see if I'm saying good things. Hopefully I am. Anyway, that kind of completes everything else. Black Eye Moody, if you've got other questions about stuff, if you're looking to hire an automation architect who's just crazy about doing what I'm doing, I've been doing this, that's a big list, which means I've been doing this a very, 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 very long time out there. And I'm always updating this list for stuff. You can even take notes on your products and compare them. So if you're, like I said, if you pick out two or three of these and you want to say, hey, I got money to spend, I want to compare these 2 or 3, you put in your notes, you have all your check boxes. What else do I have over here? Different elements that you should be able to interact with. I expect you should be able to work with text characters, buttons, tables, sliders, scroll bars, and tooltips. A little bit more advanced, random toast pop-up messages definitely would be something that's there. They're only up there for like 5 seconds. And also on each one of these, there's a little, you can hover over the little eye over there and say, hey, we should be able to handle transient notifications, even if they pop up and disappear. So that's one of the biggest challenges I've had in my career is, hey, let's go capture that toast message and verify that we saw what we saw. And the way I do that is I bake that into the click method. I also have a custom weight that is sitting there. sits and kind of watches for the pop-up message. So if it comes up while we're waiting for a page to build, I will keep it in a little array off to the side. And then once a validation comes along and says validate the toast pop-up, first it looks on the screen to see if there is a toast pop-up, and if it's not there, then it will go down to the array and see, well, did we capture one? Was it there and it just disappeared? You'll also see that it says here, date pickers. Date pickers are cool. You kind of saw that on the RESTful Booker. This is a date, kind of a date picker on here. And the one thing they don't have is you can't actually just enter the date that you want. 99% of the products that are out there, websites, actually will let you put in a date. And the one thing I do say is don't try to automate. This is red because I say don't try and automate a date picker. Just enter the freaking date into the input field. Other different external objects like Telerik has all sorts of different objects that are out there. And then identify elements, your basics, your tag ID, name, and placeholder. You should be able to identify an element with those, and text. And then if you're doing attributes, advanced area label, data QA, which is custom attribute that the developers promise they will never change. Even if they change all of this stuff, it makes your maintenance a lot less lower. Title, and then substring matches of something either in text or one of the other attributes over there. I'm just talking and going on. Different kinds of weights. Of course, Selenium has a dynamic weight, not a dynamic weight. Let's try that again. Of course, Selenium itself, and I know we're talking also Playwright. Selenium has a hard. Well, you have a sleep, which is a hard-coded weight, and then you have a implicit weight, an explicit weight, and a fluent weight. If you don't know those three and you're on an interview, they probably will not hire you. I don't know. That's the kind of thing I ask for, is to know a little bit more about what your knowledge is on that. But I like to do a dynamic weight. I don't like hard-coded sleeps in there. In fact, it's the first thing I go looking for when I'm looking at an automation project. You should also be able to wait for a spinner to go away, wait for the network to be idle. Different ways you can do that. More advanced is waiting for the word loading to appear or the page state to be ready to go. As I mentioned, toast message capture is up there. I think I've got that twice. I must have, because I was just talking about it. And also to identify that there's a bad page build. This, what I mean over here, let's see if I got that over here. Let's say if you attempt to log in and the page didn't go back to the login, and it also didn't go log you in, it's sat in some weird intermediate state with some weird goofy message. The point is the internet is not 100% infallible. It will get a little glitchy. And if you log in and the page is kind of glitchy, what does the user do? They'll hit the refresh button, and then either you're back at the login and attempt it again, or you're into the system because they had a little glitchy thing and it didn't build the page, and then it's all back at you. So that's the advanced sort of things that I'm looking for that automation framework should be. It shouldn't just stop and say, oh, I don't know where I'm at. Should have a chance to try and restart. My ultimate goal in my testing when I do this is to get to the endpoint. I want to verify, yes, this still works. And I will give you maybe a notification that something weird happened. And usually in most test cases, if you're in CI/CD, if you run a test and something glitchy happens, all the CI/CD does is it reruns the test. And if it got through all fine, then it was just a small glitchy thing that came through, and it's all good because it passed the first time. Things to handle speed. Of course, running headless is great, but I like to see where the heck I'm going. That's why I don't like it when the build is automatically set to headless. I can't see it. It's just saying, trust me, bro, you test passed. I hate that. CI/CD organizations over here. You you should be able to organize your test cases in a couple different ways. Your basic smoke, your sanity, and your regression. Smoke is your first 10% of the application. Sanity is the next 20% of the application, and regression is everything else that passed from the last run. You should be able to have a collection of test cases that are end-to-end test cases. You should have something that marks it as work in progress. Don't run these because these are going to fail. And if you have 100 test cases and 5 of them are work in progresses and they fail, people freak out. Oh my God, there's failures. They're not done yet. Okay, so don't run them. GitHub and TestMoo all are good in being able to run your test cases on, and of course rerunning on fail. In advanced, you should be able to prioritize certain test cases. You should have a retry of flaky detections. And then there's other, of course, systems out there, Sauce Labs, Browser Stack, and GitLab for running your CI/CD projects and having actions and environments. And something I don't have listed on there, I'm just thinking right now, having a vault where you can store data that's sensitive, like, having the data that is passwords and stuff like that, not having it in your project. Let's see, being able to do custom code, interacting with your browser. This basically means adding the functionality that whatever tool you got they don't have time to write. I've worked with a company like that, and it's good to have the ability for you as the user to be able to add some sort of functionality. I can give you an example of one of those. We had a customer who wanted to know that after they click the play button, when the video is done 40%, because at that point, if you watch 40% of the video, you had considered having watched all of the video. Nobody really knew that, but if you got that far, they're like, okay, I'm pretty sure you saw everything that's in that training video. Reporting, having going out to like Allure, not there. Historical trend dashboard, which Allure does have. Test management and notifications like Slack and Teams for your reporting. Integrations there. Security goes through how to do that. I'm not a security testing guy, so I don't really talk too much about this. The AI kind of generated all of this stuff here, but definitely looking for a masked password field is one thing that I always kind of look for. In fact, one of the elimination rules I have for comparing automation tools is if I'm paying for this, I should not see my password when I am recording the script. I know the password, and the people who need to know it, they know it, but I don't need it being displayed in front of me as you typed it in. So that is if I that used to be one of my, and it still is one of my, it's a litmus test for an automation project tool. You go log in, 4 simple steps, and if I see my password, and I like using a website that will accept any password, and I like to put in there and say, okay, you just showed me my password as you just showed me my password being out there. And if it pops up, then it's like, well, it's been nice talking to you. Move on. Speaking of moving on, like I said, I've got all these different things. And of course, the basic and advanced AI things that you can do, natural language processing, which is when I click this button, it can interpret that. That's the important thing. I think I bored you to death, Black Eye. And I got somebody else over here, but I'm not going to put that up there because that's not a real site. So, yeah, I'm not talking to the fragrant grapevine over there, because all that guy does is post for some other site that you would think there'd be other sites trying to do that, and this is the only one that does it. So I'm not going to talk to them. All right. I think I have accomplished everything that I want to do. The last thing I think I wanted to mention was I want to take this template, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, and I guess I'll do a new folder. And we'll say Playwright TS dash, and we're going to call it what? The interview. We'll call it interview, right? Okay, so I'm going to go over here, and I think there's only one file I would have to change in all of this. Let's copy this, and let's go back over to our repo, to our interview, and I'll go paste this. So now I'm pasting it. It's taking a little while because of all of the node directory folders that are in there. And I'm going to go see if I can open this. We'll go to Playwright, to my Playwright config, and now I'm going to go say, do a new window. New window. There's our new window. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it this way. I am going to go from here. I'm going to go open the terminal. There's my terminal. I'm going to type in code, period. And then we're going to get VS Code, except we're going to be in the Playwright TypeScript interview project over here. All right. Now, the only thing that I would have to do is do a search for, I don't know why that's open. I'm going to search for Playwright -TS template. Template, PLATE, and we are going to go and replace that, of course, with interview. Okay. And we will go and replace all. We just made 37 changes. And most of them are probably in the results folder. Okay. We'll do that. All right. Now, if I go and run this, let's bring this up to full screen. And now I've got my own custom version. So I can start fresh and then start doing we'll do a new terminal. And we're going to go and run this. That's the base URL. Hey, where's my history? You rotten monkey. Where's my history? Because I was running all this. I've lost my whole history. That makes me mad. Hold on. Do I have the other one open? Come on. That's not that. That's not what I want. We want to go. That is what I want. And I don't know why that is not in my history. I can't explain it. But fortunately, I can copy and paste it. Now, if I do this, I should get the exact same thing. And I do. All right. And that said, it passed. That's kind of cool. Now, in my interview, they'd be asking me doing something other on this. So if I were to go to my Playwright package, config TypeScript, that's my config. I want my tests over here. And we have the admin username and password baked into that. We definitely mentioned we don't actually do that. We go to our URL. Now, so I mentioned when we go to login, go to definition. So we're doing this fill. And what I want to do next is I want to have the fill just describe what it's doing. So I'm going to say extend fill to describe the action. Entered user into username field. Let's try that. So I'm going to see if we can build an external extension on this to actually write out stuff. This is monkey, not monkey testing, another term for it. Let's see. All right, so it's going to do this login and have this in here. And then it's running it. And I'm not crazy about the way it's doing this. It's basically saying it's going to enter this in here, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to say undo. Yes, please. I want to extend the fill function. So it created fill with description, and it's now using fill with description. I'm going to undo that. I do not want to create a new function. Want to extend the fill command globally to add more functionality. Try that. Let's see. Yeah, so now we're going to do a patch to extend the fill. All right. So we're going to extend that. Reading the types. Interesting. Cool stuff to try and add. So we're doing a monkey patch. That's the term we needed. Knew it was monkey something. Monkey patch. Okay, so we are passing this in. Not sure why I need to add this. I would definitely like to have this just say one. Okay. Okay, I am going to keep this. I guess we're going to keep that. And wait. What it says user and username field. So the user and the pass is being put in. The mask value equals true. Field name. Not sure why lines 31 and 32 needed to be revised. So I don't like that it's adding more stuff here. It should just have the exact same things, except it's going to spit it out. They were optional for functionality, but necessary for readability and safety of the stuff output. Okay, well, we're gonna undo that one, but we're gonna keep the rest. All right, so if I give this a run, let's see what we get. Hope I'm entertaining you, Black Eye Moody. And of course, it just popped up here. And does it say what it is doing? Okay. It did not. So I'm not happy with this. Not happy at all. I think my dog's having a nightmare downstairs. The monkey patch should console log. Console log. Okay. I get this instead. It's currently adding test steps, not terminal console outputs. Update the global fill patch to omit console log entries. Active, but only wrapping a step. So I confirm that. So now it's got the extend fill. Cool. And there is our browser there. Cool. And now I will try it over here. Bring that in. Yoink. All right. And look at that. It did that. And by the way, it also, there's what is exactly what I was saying, is that you should be able to do the mask the password. So I like that. All right. If I go search for where that is, entered. Okay. Not sure why I'm, oh, there. So that's our results. This is, here it is. Keep. I like that. Entered something into this target. So when I do that, I prefer to have it in quotes. So we'll have that in quotes, and we'll have this in quotes. Cool. Now we've done that, we'll give that another run. And now we're console logging that we're entering this stuff in here. Cool. Let's do the same for click. I want to know what the click is. Now I could do that from over here, but why spend my tickets? We're gonna do an export. I think we're gonna do. I just copy everything here, paste that in, and we're gonna say install expected click. All right. This is click extended. This is the original click. This is click as blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then entered. This is going to be clicked. And we don't need this display value at all. Original click over here. And that is kind of done. This guy is saying, hey, I don't see what that is. So let's see. force name option out. Field name. I don't need the field name. I need the button name. Target equals. See, native options. Fill. I don't think I need that. So, could spend an hour looking up the stuff. Okay, Click doesn't have native options. So we don't do no native options. We'll take those out. Take those out. Display value. This is, we'll do that. So we're going to take the field name, except the field name is actually going to be button name. Button name, button name. All right. And I don't think we're going to be needing, I think we just have this. And that's all. Well, this. So what's wrong with this? So we need a fill name. Click, find fill. Let's feed fill. There are no options there. So this is going to be click. There you go. That's the way I want it. Guess I don't need this, and I don't need this. Okay. We need to get the button name. Const button name equals this. I don't think I have a display value that I need. And what's wrong with this? Original click. Call this display value. Add that in there. And I think we got almost everything except this ain't right. So let's fix that. Can't believe, Black Eye Moody, you're still watching. All right. Well, at some point I give up and say fix the install extended click to show the button being clicked. All right, kind of cool. So it's going to go fix that item. Oh. So this is called extend fill. I think we want to extend. Yeah. So let's go ask this. Should we have separate files for each extension or one common extension file? Okay, I'm going to keep all of this and see if we get that click. And it says clicked roll button login. Awesome. All right, so let's go ask that question. We are now in ask mode, I believe. Yeah. One file. All right. Then I think we're going to go move these. Move the click out of the fill and create a new extend click file. All right. So we kind of got that. The other thing is I noticed that when I clicked on this, it doesn't have a highlight. And I'd like to see a highlight. It's not quite a highlight, a flash. So let's go take a look at our files. Your utilities. We have a logger, browser, and we gotta see where the logger. How we see the logger. You have test results. The low results. What else we got? I've been doing this for 2 hours. So we got an extend click right here. Nice. Think that's how do. Did he not put it in? Oh, shoot. I'm still in ask mode. Please do it. Wasted freaking tokens on that. Blah. There we go. Keep all of that. Keep all that. Keep all that. And we are in fixtures. Cool. So we added these extended features. We put them through fixtures, and we did the wrappers and the logger. Now rename extend fill for symmetry. I don't think so. I think it's fine. Playwright extend locator fill with click naming. No, it's fine. Okay. Add a highlight called flash. And the flash, it will be called in the click. It must be try catch, so it never fails. Do document, do console log, if the element was not found. The flash should be 200 milliseconds. All right, let's go see where the flash goes. We're putting in a flash. Still got one person watching. Probably should have some music on. Lights hours in. Said put some music on, man. All right. I've got that added. I don't like this music. I'd say it's kind of loud and annoying for me. I don't think I can add the music on. I can't listen to it at the same time. All right. So our logger, we extend this, click. All right, let's go see if this now highlights the click. There it is. All right. Let's go search for flash. Okay. And what's our color? Color should be green. I like green. Let's go change this to green. There we go. Like that. Let's give one more run. Now, there's one more thing I want to do. It's been popping up on the screen at the top. We open the browser centered. We'll do that because it is popping up on my top screen. I don't really want that. All right, let's see if that pops up centered. I'll try and drag it down. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I have 2 monitors. You know what? I guess I could show it a picture. Maybe I could do that. Let's go show it a picture. Personalized display settings. I'm going to go grab a picture of this. I'm going to go paste it in here. So essentially, this is what my display looks like. And it's popping up here. And we want to put it on display 1. As in the image. Like the browser to open or move to the center of display 1. So yeah, you figure that one out, buddy. Still got one person just watching. And no chat. Okay, I will allow this. Keep that. See what it does. Give it another run. Okay, let's take a look at that file. Window size. Window size. Okay, 1260. I think I want it at 3 and 0. Let's try that. Bring it up and to the left. That did not do anything. All right. I'm gonna give it another run, give it another picture. Now I'll take a picture. There we go. Yep. Call it again. All right, see if we can get it to be centered. It's thinking about it. It's thinking real hard. All right. Running. Cool. Let's see what it did. Yes. Yep. It's still fixing it. Nope. Tiny runtime adjustment, global to recenter it. Same position. I wonder if I can make it think deeper. Try it again. Well, it's centered. And I want to stop my 2-hour recording. What are you doing? I got visitors here. Y'all want to see my visitors? Take a look at my visitors. This is Willow. Oh, Willow, and she likes to lick me. She's like, Daddy, you've been up here for 2 hours. Please knock it off. Like, okay. Do you want to say hi to the people? Come on, show me your face. Show your face. Yes. Yes. All right. Yes, I'll let you out. Just give me a minute. All right. We'll try that one more time. Hey. All right, stop. Needy, you are such needy. Ow, you scratched my arm. You know what? I think we're going to call this for a minute and see if I can fix that later, because my dogs definitely need me. All right, everybody. Hope you have a good day. Cheers. Get off me.